Ah, welcome, weary travelers. Come on in and have a seat. We're just about to sacrifice a goat. Don't be alarmed, the DM of the Rings is here. Ah, well met, my friends. If you're here for the treasure, I'm afraid we've already spent it on gold-plated toilet seats. But you're welcome to come in and try your luck in the goblin pit. You like this? Real squirrel pelt. Well, well, I thought you'd be here 20 minutes ago, Bill, but you know what they say. Crit happens. Ah, there it is again. Party night, Wallace the Weed Whacker. Loud as ever. Holy crap! What bit of mimiction has brought you to my doorstep? Need a costume, Frank. You're not getting through here. Greetings, brave souls. Tiberius Sparklebottom, Grimgar the Flatulent, Bardolph McSwiggins, Hrothgar the Unwashed. Please leave your weapons at the door, unless you're planning on fighting Vecna. Well, hey, Mom? I thought you said I could have the upstairs tonight. Listen, can you go around back? I've got a lot of friends up here. Hey film friends, I'm Nick Furman. This is Furman on Film. Welcome to the channel. In today's video, we'll be reviewing Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves. If you're new to the channel, our format is simple. We'll start out with a brief synopsis, then we'll move on to some likes and dislikes of the picture before getting into some of my own original thoughts. For those of you who know the deal, feel free to skip around and use the timestamps in the description below. And of course, as always, please stay to the end to get our FOF rating out of 5 stars. Without further ado, this is D&D Honor Among Thieves. A charming thief and a band of unlikely followers embark on an epic quest to retrieve a lost relic. But things go dangerously awry when they run afoul of the wrong people. Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves brings the rich world and playful spirit of the legendary role-playing game to the big screen in a hilarious and action-packed adventure which blends fantasy and drama. Alright, let's start by talking about what I liked about this film. In a word, humor. Look, this film is largely a romp. It's riotously entertaining. It's got buddy comedy chemistry elements alongside serious action and sincere family drama. But what really blew my mind was how elaborate the setups were for some of the gags. The Jonathan flashback gag in the opening is one of these examples, or the hither-thither portal later on. And my favorite sequence of all is the reviving the dead with 5 questions spell, which they just keep doubling down on again and again to hysterical effect. And Regé-Jean Page comes in around the second act to up the wordplay comedy. He's playing a sort of paladin, so my gaming friends tell me. And his hubris alongside Chris Pine's insouciance is just perfect. Speaking of Chris, the man has just got solid leading man swagger. He's also able to pivot deftly from tossing off one-liners, sort of like Harrison Ford, to father-daughter melodrama. Michelle Rodriguez plays a sort of oversized barbarian, at least in one scene with an unbelievable cameo. But she's kind of the fulcrum of the group. It's emotional grounding. You know, I was also thinking, what an incredible stretch for Hugh Grant in this role, portraying a rich, bumbling, pompous ass. Oh wait. Finally, sure, the last battle is CGI crazy, like all the new action movies. But because it's new characters who aren't Marvel heroes with their own powers, it's kind of unexpected. And we'll talk about the film's balance of effects more in a moment. Okay, let's move on to what I disliked about Dungeons & Dragons. Look, some of the special effects in here are just not great. That's a mark against it. Watch Hugh Grant in the sky at the end if you need a solid example of what I'm talking about. But there is a lot of actual setup here as well. There are real sets that were built and real sequences that were filmed on location, off the lot. I think the bigger complaint is that this film just doesn't really do anything new. If you've seen adventure stories or Let's Get the Band Together movies, if you know all the MacGuffins, like the quest for the helmet here, you'll be on top of every story beat before it ever comes. It's kind of like Indiana Jones, but with fantasy added. And here's one example of the repetitive stuff I'm talking about. Apparently, it's not only Christopher Nolan who had the dead wife trope problem, which kind of points to my final thing. In the next section, we're going to talk about how this isn't a full-bore fantasy film. So if you're one of the RPG kids, maybe this one just doesn't go hard enough. Alright, so let's get to some of my own original thoughts on the themes of this film. Honor Among Thieves is an interesting amalgam of things. So you take the intellectual property, the tabletop game for nerds for decades, and then you grab the writers of Game Night, and what do you get? Well, kind of a heist comedy with family drama elements. A fetch quest that is more about hoisting the coveted object than really anything else. There must be Easter eggs for hardcore RPG fans, but the film is not hard to follow if you've never played once, like me. It's not really classical fantasy at all. It's a mainstream big budget movie first, always, and only really secondarily an intellectual property. What is undeniable is how hysterical and fun it is, and how it really strikes a balance of serious, purposeful questing and goofy send-ups, which apparently have been a part of some of the best D&D games played around tables for years. So, what do we conclude? Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves is a big-hearted flick. That rare, family-friendly film which pays homage to its source material, while sort of gleefully parodying it at the same time. A great big-screen adventure with a leading man up to the task and a cadre of interesting characters alongside him. Well, there you have it. The only thing left to discuss is our rating for this film. FOF gives Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves 3.8 out of 5 stars. If you enjoyed this review, please let us know by smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel. You can also hit that little bell so you get notified each time we release a new video. Hey, we'd love to hear your comments. Where are my D&D fans? What did you think of this film? What was your rating? Also, please don't forget to head on over to FurmanOnFilm.com where you can check out reviews from current pictures and older ones too, alongside deep dives and so much more. Thanks for watching. I'm Nick Furman. This is Furman on Film. Stay firm, my friends.